You are listening to Salam Media, and this is Mid Morning Talk with me, your host, Mariam Mia. And now I'd like to bring up and discuss this issue that I think concerning many a parent, and that is the South African government has procured the services of Cuban teachers to help bolster our education system. So to help us understand more about this, as well as the feeling about thus, I have both joining me. I have Matakanye Matakanye, and he is the National Association General Secretary of Governing Bodies, as well as I have SATDU spokesperson Nomusa joining us to help us understand the issue here, because I said department state slams, the state has been slammed for employing Cuban educators. The department credits specialists with improving the education systems. However, in organization representing parents of school children have slammed the government for hiring Cuban educational specialists to beef up skills of local maths and science teachers. So, Time Soweto Alive has quoted Matakanye Matakanye during an interview that said there were many teachers were employing and the unemployed, and government should prioritize them over foreign teachers. To help us understand this and make sense of the issue, let me just see if I've got Matakanye connecting. Good morning, Matakanye, and thank you for joining me here on Salam Media.
Good morning, Marie. Good morning, Miriam, and all your listeners, as well as Cindy.
She's joining us now. Good morning. How are you, Nomusa? And thank you for thank both of you for joining us again. I mean, both you, Matakanye and Nomusa, are no strangers here on Salam Media on this platform. So today we're discussing the issue of the Cuban educators that, according to spokesperson Elijah Mashlanga of Department of Education, are here to upskill and bolster support in terms of maths and science for our educators. However, this has been received with, I think, concern by parents, governing bodies as well, and amongst many educators who are even coming through the Funza system, who are finding themselves unemployed at the moment, and then schools that are under-resourced, and parents are saying, especially in the rural areas, that money could have been spent on resources for both our local South African educators as well as learners. So, let me start with you, Matakanye. Please tell us your feeling and your association's feeling regarding the issue of employing Cuban educators.
Thank you very much, Miriam, and Comrade Gindide, as well as Mutlanga. Our problem is that there are a lot of our children who are not working as of now, who graduated. Then that is now the problem we are having, that how can we continue going outside and get teachers from outside. We don't have a problem with the Cuban teachers per se, but we are just saying, why are we not prioritizing our teachers at home, our children who are not working and they have qualified? Now, and we are saying, if those teachers were to be brought here, rather than to go to schools, why can't they go to the university and upskill teachers who are in the university, so that when they get out of that, they are employable. They have the skills that are needed for them to be employed. And I think that is the gripe that we have as National Association of School Governing Body, to say we have to put our priorities correct.
Thank you for that. Nomusa, please tell us SATDU's, what does SATDU feel in terms of having the Cuban teachers bolster up our education system, specifically as the department says in mathematics and science? What is SATDU's view on the hiring of the Cuban educators?
Okay, let me first thank you for providing us with this opportunity. What we understand with the provision of Cubans we understand that they are not necessarily teachers, but they are education specialists who are here to assist our educators to look at our textbooks, to look at how we teach. What they are doing, they are going directly to teachers to empower them as to how they can teach better, how they can teach better these difficult concepts and all. They are looking at the textbooks, at the curriculum, and at about providing better pedagogical approaches, to the challenges or to teaching maths. It's not that they are going to be in class, but they are providing that support to the teachers. So as far as we are concerned, we feel what they are providing. Yes, we are aware there are many teachers who are not teaching, but we have a crisis with the teaching of maths in the country, and we feel that they are providing a skill that is not readily available. As such, we are not against people coming in to provide scarce skills. So they won't be in class, but they are assisting the teachers to teach better these subjects, as we know very well that we have a problem with the teaching of mathematics.
So, Matakanye, let me bring you in here. Yes, we know there's a problem, but I mean, you know what? When I look at since 27 years now of democracy, we've had OBE, which failed. Then we had CAPS, which then we have revised CAPS policy. And so where are we going wrong that now we have to fork out money that department really doesn't have in terms of money that could be going to resources for our learners on these teachers to provide additional expertise? Where have we been going wrong? Somebody has to be responsible somewhere that we're finding ourselves in this position that especially mathematics and science educators are scarce skill, as Nomusa correctly has mentioned. But the thing is, I mean, we had 27 years to improve, to go through what will work, how does it work, and still we find ourselves in such difficulty that we have to import people, educators from Cuba to come and guide our educators. Where is it going wrong? Even in our universities, why students are spending lots and lots of money and the huge amounts of fees in terms of getting trained to be specialist educators. So where is the system? Why is the system so flawed? Matakanye, in your opinion, what is the problem?
Sorry. That's where we have the problem. That's where the problem is. You see, we have got 27 plus, I think 27 to be roughly 27,000 schools in South Africa. It therefore means they will be sending 27,000 Cuban specialists because these people are going to support teachers. I really don't think we have a problem with that. But yes, we have mentioned a point of 27 years that the system has been operating. Now, we have got lot and lot of teachers who are not working. Why are we not taking the students to the universities where these teachers are trained so that they can be given appropriate skills at the university level? When we come to teach, then already they have been skills for 27 years. Really and truly, I really don't understand what is really happening here. But what we are saying is that now, teach these teachers, these specialists, put them into the universities. Because we have been having all these universities for the last 27 years. These universities have been there, but they have been not producing the skills that is required by this country until we go to Cuba and where else. For these 27 years, there are teachers who have got skills, and these teachers, instead of being reskilled, and then at the same, when we reskill the teachers, we are skilling the coming teachers so that we don't have problem of unemployment and finally go to Cuba and get the students to come and be specialists to the teachers They teach them the method. They do all those things instead of this teacher supposed to have got the teaching method, the category, and all those things from the university level. So that's the problem. That's the real problem that we do have. That we are going to continue with this thing. You have mentioned the question of the OBE. It has been here. Yes, then we dropped it. And these children, I'm just worried about this country, that where are we really going in terms of education in this country?
Nomusa, so getting back to you, I mean, all your members are trained professionals. I mean, we're not talking about semi-skilled workers. Educators are trained professionals. They have university degrees. They've got degrees. Many of them have honors. Do you think they still require somebody to sit with them, especially your mathematics and science teachers, in classrooms to upskill them to then analyze and understand textbooks? Are they at a loss that they do not understand teaching and learning aids, that they require the skills of Cuban teachers? And also, do these Cuban educators understand the dynamics of South Africa? Because remember, even amongst our school, every school is a mechanism of the community in which the school functions. So every school has its different circumstances, different challenges, depending on the logistics of the school, the location of the school, the community within the school. How of an experience are the Cuban teachers in terms of understanding various teaching communities? So remember, education doesn't happen in a vacuum. Education has major role players. You have your educators, you have your learner, you've got your parent in your education structure here. So do they really understand our South African context to be of benefit to our South African educators? Nomusa. Nomusa, can you just unmute? We cannot hear you. Can you unmute?
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Firstly, let me say I would agree with what Mr. Matakanye has said, in that perhaps we need to look at the training institutions themselves where teachers are trained, because it is at a late stage that you find that the teacher is already in a workplace, and then the teacher has got to be reskilled again in order to teach better. Perhaps the Department of Basic Education should engage further with the Department of Higher Education and Training in order to look at what these teachers are taught at tertiary level before they can come to school. The issue of bringing in the Cuban doctors and all, I would not be in the best position to answer because it is the department who brought them here. I think it had to do with the fact that Cuba is one can say a developing country. Perhaps that's why they decided to bring Cuba here, but I cannot go into detail because we were not part.
No, what I'm asking you, not about the Cuban doctors, but asking you the Cuban educators in terms of, will they understand the South African context? Because as I've mentioned earlier, a school is dependent on the community in which the school operates, the challenges of that area, the logistics of that school, and these educators coming from Cuba, they might not necessarily understand the culture, because remember, it's not like Cuban engineers, you're dealing with machinery, mechanization. Here you're dealing with children, you're dealing with human beings. It's not even about the syllabus. It's to educate learners, to educate our future South Africans. How I just need to know, have they been trained, have they been orientated, that they have, do they understand the circumstances of South African schooling, the context, as well as our challenges, our constraints?
They are not going to be educating learners. They are educating the teachers. The teachers will know best about the situation. And from what they have learned, the teachers would be the best to understand how they can apply what they've learned to the circumstance, to taking into account our current circumstances. So they are not engaging directly with the learners, but the teachers and subject advisors and all those in leadership. They are not necessarily engaging direct. But however, I can go further in that, because we were not part of deciding that Cuba should be taken. Yes, we understand it is a different country, but I think they are engaging with professionals, because unlike even here in South Africa, you do find teachers going to study overseas and all. Whatever they study, a teacher, we believe that a teacher gets those skills that can allow that teacher to see how best to apply the knowledge that they've learned to the circumstances that they meet on a daily basis. That's why we call them professionals, because they know how to unbundle or how to contextualize information to the circumstances that they come across.
Yeah, so time will tell whether the Cuban educators have really been of benefit to our South African educators, and was this money well allocated and well spent? Because right now our education sector is bleeding in terms of resources, schools needs. Matakanye will tell you every school is crying out for resources, for aid, for equipment, for textbooks to upskill our learners. So let's just see. Time will tell whether this was a wise investment by the Department of Education, or was this funds used better in terms of spending and resources, or finding another way of upskilling our educators that would not cost this amount of money. Matakanye, in conclusion, what would you like to say?
Sorry, Miriam. We must not be perceived as if we are opposed to Cuba. Cuba is a friend to South African government and South African population. They helped us a lot. I think during our struggle, if it was not Cuba, we would not be where we are. However, what we are saying is that as much as we welcome those teachers, but the method used is wrong. They rather revise the method. They must take these teachers to the universities. The Department of Basic Education must discuss with the Department of Higher Education where do they place them strategically, so that now they empower teachers. And also, when they empower these teachers that are not working as of now, not a lot of teachers can be brought back to the university and trained, and so that now they are, as from next year, as from a year from next, then our children can be employed, and they will be having relevant skills. And that's just the simplest request that we are making, so that we must not keep on saying. I'm telling you, the society is starting to lose the trust in the system, because if they take their children to school and they become teachers, but when they come back, they don't get employment because they don't have relevant skills. I mean, the best way is just to take your child where you think they will be the best education, because this very child who's supposed to come in and teach does not teach, because then it is said this teacher does not have the relevant skills. You see, then after 27 years, then we have to go to Cuba once again and get specialists to come and retrain. And this we are saying the method is incorrect. So they must look into the method, bring the Cubans, bring them to the universities. But now at the same time, let's resource the resource that we have in the country. It must also be retrained, and so that now we know that we are going to employ our own children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matakanye Matakanye, for General Secretary of the Association of School Governing Bodies. And thanks so much, Nomusa Cembi. She is the spokesperson for SATDU, the South African Democratic Teachers Union. Thanks so much for joining us here on Salam Media. And hopefully we can chat to you again in the future, maybe under the protection and mercy of the Almighty. Please stay safe and stay healthy. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to go for a short break, and then we're going to highlight an issue of an 18-year-old matriculant who is struggling to secure an identity document. All this after the break.